Okay, so the good news is you've got more power than you think with your own case. You'll hear all sorts of horror stories. The bad news is you've got the power to damage your own case, and I see lots of people do that as well. Let me jump in and give you 4 signs you may not be helping your own case. The first one is it's everybody else's fault. It's a corrupt social services and court system. It's the CAFCAS officer and the social worker who are incompetent and or evil. It's the stupid judge. It's your ex. It's your ex's solicitor. It's the Mackenzie friends that you speak to. It's the solicitor. You know, you've probably fired two solicitors, one barrister, one Mackenzie friend because they're all useless. It's all their fault, not yours. You're going to argue with the random bloke on TikTok that who you're watching. Your ex is completely evil, completely stupid, completely selfish. They're all wrong. You're right, and they're all working together in a big collaboration to punish you. You don't need to change. Everyone else does. The next one is you refuse to compromise, and you're completely and utterly inflexible. You've got a my way or the highway kind of attitude. If you go as far as mediation, you're going to sit there and say, well, I want X, Y, and Z, and that's it. You're not going to negotiate. You're not going to listen to anybody else. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. Your ex is wrong. If they don't agree, if they don't buckle under, well, it's just tough, ain't it? It's the principle, isn't it? You're doing it for the principle. The next one is you're going to ignore all the advice you've got. Kind of relates to point number 1. You may have paid that solicitor £250 an hour plus VAT. You may be paying that barrister £1,500 a day. The CAFCAS officer may say to you, you might want to consider doing this, but you're going to ignore them. You know best. You're going to pay a fortune for advice. You're going to ignore it. Someone like me, I'm going to put together a statement for you, and you're going to decide that it's completely rubbish, and you're going to change it completely to back it was before. You're going to ignore all the advice you've gotten. You're going to be the one who is going to ignore the advice from people that have seen cases like yours for years, from start to middle to end, and you're going to be the one that bucks the system. And when it goes wrong, you're going to blame the people who gave you advice, say it was bad advice, and then come on social media and tell everyone else who will listen how the system's corrupt, how you did your best and there's nothing you can do. And the last thing is you're going to talk about your rights continually. You know, it doesn't matter that the Children's Act doesn't mention parents' rights, children's rights, but you're going to talk about your rights. You're going to talk about what you're entitled to, what should happen, how the system needs to change, how you discriminate against because you're a dad, or how you discriminate against the women, or how the system lets you down. It's going to be the facts that your rights. It's about what you're entitled to. You're going to talk about how the courts are biased against you and how you're not listening. Look, the good news is, if you're doing any of these things, and I see people doing lots of these, it's never too late to actually turn things around. I've seen people who are halfway through a case, 3/4 of the way through the case. I've seen social services involved and people that have actually gained that insight that they need and turn a case around. Court orders are blunt. They can't make your ex or you behave reasonably. And if you are that problem, if you're the problem, and you're refusing to work with them, well, the court's optimised for dealing with people who are playing hardball, people who are being awkward. And at some point, you'll probably get bypassed. You might stand there with your arms folded saying, well, I'm not going to budge. And the court will say, okay, Mr. Smith, or okay, Mrs. Smith, we respect that. And they'll just work around you. And sometimes that means bypassing you. So look, lots of things you can do. What have I missed?